Hello team, and welcome to this special summer safety video message. In years past, the team has created content for the annual summer campaign by identifying challenges unique to each line of business, then building communications that target improvement in those key areas. This year, however, we decided to take a different route. The focus of the 2015 Summer Safety Program will be risks associated with pedestrian and cyclist activity on the public roadways. If you drive a vehicle, ride in a vehicle, cross a roadway on foot or bike for exercise, the next 3 modules will offer great advice on how you can do each safely. The information will also apply to every licensed driver, professional or otherwise. This month's Summer Safety module will highlight the safest approach to interacting with cyclists on the public road, as well as the level of caution to be used by every roadway cyclist who wishes to safely share the roadway. It is important to remember that the current laws welcome cyclists to city streets and rural traffic ways, giving them lawful possession of each lane they occupy. A cyclist will normally have as much legal right to a lane as any motorist, whether riding for fun or for transportation. Like any motorist, a cyclist must manage the danger that generally exists on a roadway, but they meet that danger with much less horsepower than a vehicle driver and with little to no occupant protection against collision forces. To alleviate the elevated risk, a cyclist will often choose to occupy the far right portion of a lane. The right edge of the lane offers the rider a quick exit from the traffic way if he or she feels threatened. Many cyclists also feel that traveling near the curb places them outside the normal travel area and therefore reduces their risk of conflict with a passing vehicle. It is important to keep in mind, when the average cyclist takes the far right portion of the lane, they are not suggesting to others that bicyclists have less right to be there than traditional vehicles, and they are not yielding their right of way to vehicles at their rear. In fact, no matter where a bike settles within a lane, the rider will feel they are on equal standing with other traffic units, a belief validated in nearly every case by state law. If you pass too closely, or if you pass recklessly, your behavior will surprise and annoy that rider. Next, I want to cover several key points you should keep in mind when driving in the vicinity of a cyclist. Remember their right to occupy a lane. You would not squeeze a motorcycle rider or push a motorcycle to the curb. Don't do it with a cyclist. Do not attempt to intimidate them or force them from real estate they legally occupy on the roadway. Keep their speed capability in mind. Reduce your own speed and never blow past a cyclist, even if they appear to be making room for traffic to overtake them. And remember, a cyclist may first learn of your presence after you are well into your effort to overtake them. So if you startle a rider, you might compromise his or her ability to control the handlebars. Give them a wide berth. Their lower speed means they are comfortable darting from side to side. A lane change on a bicycle will take a fraction of the time it takes in a passenger vehicle or trash truck. Next, expect erratic movement. Cyclists dodge left frequently as they avoid potholes or a crumbled pavement edge. So make sure you allow 3 to 4 feet or more as you pass and never use an oncoming lane to overtake where a double yellow line, blind curve, or hill is present. If there is not sufficient room to pass safely, show patience and do not crowd their rear tire. If you are unable to safely or legally pass, make sure to maintain a safe follow distance. Think of each as a fast-moving pedestrian. Even in full gear, a cyclist is essentially unprotected. Any collision with a passenger vehicle or the pavement involves great risk of personal injury for that rider. Keep them in mind well after you have passed them. An unexperienced bike rider may use little caution when overtaking you on your right side once you have slowed or stopped. Cyclists require little space and often seek the final inches of pavement to pass traffic that is stacked up at an intersection. Visit your right side mirrors frequently prior to right-hand turns, especially in those areas known for heavy bike traffic. Finally, understand that not every cyclist will ride with a full appreciation of the involved risk. Treat every rider you encounter as a beginner, one who is unpredictable and worthy of your suspicion. Experienced, informed riders will make calculated decisions, anticipating the worst from passing traffic. But you are wise to assume that none of those riders are within your communities today. I hope the tone of my comments does not suggest that we at Safety Services are against cyclists. That is not the case. Cyclists have a legal right to the roadway, and I support that. But I also understand the risk of injury is very high when vehicles and cyclists collide. It is for that reason that I tell those drivers in my own family to anticipate reckless behavior from any cyclists they encounter on the roadways. Coincidentally, that is very similar to the advice I would give to any bicycle rider who chooses to pedal onto the public roadway, that he or she must anticipate the worst from passing motorists. There are many best practices for cyclists traveling within an active lane, but here are 7 pointers we view as critical to managing the risk of injury or incident. First, make sure that your bicycle is mechanically sound. Chronic issues with a tire, a chain, or a gear will probably make your bike unfit for the public roadways. Next, invest in mirrors that allow you to monitor vehicle traffic at your rear. Your bike should also have the proper reflectors and lights for the roadway conditions you will encounter. Choose your attire wisely. Your clothing should help guard against road rash in the event of a crash, but it should also be the right color for the time of day and roadway conditions. For example, you would not want to steer your bike on a poorly lit traffic way at night when you have no rear lights and you are dressed in dark clothing. You might also consider a high-vis vest to better alert drivers to your presence. Next, ride without your music. If you wear a headset, you cannot hear traffic to your rear or the horn that would otherwise alert you to approaching dangers. You need all the available senses to ride your bike safely. Find safe space, just as we teach our professional drivers at Waste Management. Identify the safest place to be within the lane and try to stay there. Avoid needless lane changes and do not dart back and forth within the lane you occupy. Be patient. You have to control your emotions just as you would behind the wheel of a vehicle. If you get frustrated or feel like the traffic conditions are unreasonable, find a safe space to pull over and catch your breath and reset. Finally, and this is critical, observe all the rules of the road at all times. If you are a serious bike rider, you know there is a lot of amateur and professional riders who take to the roads daily, and how they are welcomed or perceived can be influenced by the actions of other cyclists, specifically by those who embrace the right to occupy a lane, but not the obligation to respect traffic law, rejecting the notion that they too must stop at every stop sign or wait patiently for a light to turn green. You must respect the rules of the road when you ride there. It is the only way to safely interface with those around you, or to have them understand what you might do next. This includes using proper signals to alert drivers to your intentions. I hope you have found this communication informative. In the next summer safety module, we will present both sides of the issue related to pedestrian traffic on a traveled surface. For now, I hope you will use the information you learned today to improve your skill behind the wheel, or to better protect yourself the next time you pedal onto a public roadway. Have a great and safe summer, and please make it easier for others to do the same.